you cannot browse your website.
Hey, hi everyone. We're the final group actually, and today we are going to introduce labor movement, and we mainly will focus on strike action in our presentation. And the first part is our mind map in our homepage, and our section will be divided into these following parts. Yes, and I'm going to show you a very short videos about what the definition of a labor strike. It originally has sounds, but I don't think we can hear it. Okay, wait. And now I'm going to tell you what is strike action. Strike action is also called a labor strike, and it was originally called strike because in 18th century some workers tried to attack a ship. So this kind of movement is called a strike. And most of the countries, strike actions were quick made illegal because it caused chaos. But it was in the old times, and now many countries admit that workers all have the right to strike. Yes. Background knowledge. No. Next, I'm going to do one case analysis of a strike movement happened in Taiwan. And as you all know, earlier this year, China Airlines pilots began to strike because they are not satisfied with their current working conditions. And here's the summaries of the movement happened earlier this year, and it lasted for 7 days, and over 200 flights were canceled. More than 30,000 passengers were affected in this movement, and there were free negotiations during these 7 days, and over 900 pilots joined the strike, and they have 5 major demands. The cause of the strike is because China Airlines pilots, because they think that the pilots are overworked with existing staff made to work very long hours, and the management evidence presents a lack of interest in hiring more workers to fill out manpower shortage. So each pilot had to work very long time, and they don't think they deserve this kind of treatment. And they, at the very beginning, have raised 5 major demands. They want to have they want
Yes.
yes.
Shorten your presentation, guys. I'm sorry.
Okay. They want to shorten their flying hours, and they want to hire more pilots from Taiwan instead of from foreign countries. And they don't want any consequences if the pilots wanted to join the strike. And they want to fire the not suitable managers, and they want their bonus increase to the standards of Eva Airlines. And this is a timeline of the movement. This is a small picture. So if you want to see a larger one, you can click this link and you can see a larger one. And this is basically what happened in these 7 days. And in February the 8th, the pilots decided to strike, and they announced the news at 7 a.m. And most of the pilots wanted to join this strike movement, handing their flying license. After handing in their flying license, they are not able, they have no right to fly. And in the next day, they immediately had the first round of negotiation, but it reached no results. But in the following day, some employees in China Airlines actually decided that they would not want to strike. They said it was irresponsible, and they wanted the pilots to stop. And February the 11th, second negotiation started, but no major progress was made. And at 12th February, the pilot union decided that they want a broadcast of the third negotiations, and they wanted the negotiation to last very long because that represents the long hours they were working for the China Airlines.
The conclusion
Yeah, the conclusion is that they finally have a preliminary agreement in the first negotiations. And this is actually the live broadcast of the whole negotiation process was 11 hours long. Yes. It's actually our solution, but the solution is only targeted on pilot striking. And we think that the main problem of this strike and other similar situations in other countries is that they don't have enough pilots. So the major solution we come up with is train and hire more pilots. But we find out that training and hiring more pilots will intrigue it will cause other kind of problems. So we actually offer other solutions to other problems. And if we train and hire more pilots, as you all know, that training fees are very high. So we recommend the government maybe like China Airline is kind of government run. So government may subsidize the training fees too, so we can have more Taiwanese pilots. And there are actually not enough pilot training academies in Taiwan. Some of the academies are private, so the costs are very high. So maybe we can include some training programs in, I don't know, in the public universities or a government-run agency, so that when other people see there are actually economy incentives to run this kind of academies, they will have more academies and train more pilots.
You
And
add one more resolution to it. Actually, for the training one, if I know they are going to use AR or VR, it's going to help reduce lots of costs.
yeah,
So
I know.
maybe you can add this
Okay.
one, just one or two words, keywords.
Okay, it's like NASA. And there are also advantages. Like they can have a more flexible schedules, and a company actually, by hiring more pilots, they can use part-time pilots, I think, so they can pay less to the pilots if the cost will be too high. Yeah. And how to close this? Okay. Thank you. And actually, this is another short video I made to explain what if the management still cannot hire more pilots. They can communicate more with the employees and don't wait until they have to strike. They can solve the problems before the strike. And even they have to strike, they can still do a rotating strike. And